You're about to enter a deeply personal journal, the inner world of Gabriel, whose memories began to awaken the moment his eyes met hers. This story was written by Nicholas and born from a space of meditation and imagination, where memory and mystery meet, and the soul begins to remember itself. If you enjoy this story, be sure to check out the full playlist for Past Lives of Paris, where all the chapters unfold in harmony through both Gabriel and Genevieve's perspectives. Now, breathe in, settle your heart, and prepare to remember what you never truly forgot.
Chapter 1. The Spark Behind Her Eyes. Gabriel's Diary. March 3rd. A past memory entry. I saw her again today. Not in a dream this time, not in the drifting warmth between sleep and waking, where faces come soft and strange. She was real as the morning chill in the courtyard and the chipped espresso cup in my hand. She walked past the café like time hadn't moved at all. And when her eyes met mine, God, I remembered. Not a name, not a fact, not a story. Just a knowing that slid beneath my ribs like a breath I had once forgotten how to take. I think I knew her before. I didn't ask her name. I couldn't. My throat closed, my chest caved. There was no courage in me, only chaos. Instead, I stared into my coffee like it held answers. It didn't. So I walked. For hours. Through streets I've known all my life and yet didn't recognize at all today. Every corner whispered her presence. Every stone echoed the silence of 1,000 unspoken words. Later that night, what I'm about to write sounds insane. I know that. But I saw something. No. Felt something. It wasn't just her face that haunted me. It was what her presence triggered. I was standing by the Seine, staring at the reflection of old Paris in the water, when a sharp heat rose through my spine. And then it hit me. The first flash. I was barefoot. Sand. A firelit room. Candle smoke curling into the rafters of a stone ceiling. She was there. Only she was different. Her name was not Genevieve. Her hair was darker. Her voice softer, like it lived in the air, not in her throat. I was painting her. My hands trembled with every brushstroke. She looked at me the way no one looks anymore, as if I was both masterpiece and mystery. Then the moment shattered. Gone, like a reel cut short. What the hell was that? I've never believed in past lives. I barely believe in future ones. But this was different than imagination. It felt like memory, like a door just cracked open. And now, something's leaking through. March 4th. A past memory entry. I woke up sore. Not from anything I did physically. It was like I carried something through my dreams all night. A weight. A pull. I kept thinking about that painting. Not the image of it, but the feeling. The control in my hands. The quiet intensity of focus. It felt so familiar, like my body had done it 1,000 times before. I haven't touched a brush since I was a kid. I don't know why I stopped. Maybe I got distracted. Maybe life, real life, made it seem stupid. But now I can't stop thinking about it. Her, the strokes, the texture of paint, the way her eyes studied me like she already knew who I was. It's like something woke up and started breathing. Untimed thought. Stream of consciousness. I meditated again. Same app, same voice, but something shifted. I sat longer this time, maybe an hour. I didn't mean to. Time just slipped. I kept seeing the same room. Stone walls, high windows, sunlight cutting through in golden beams. My hands were stained in color. Not metaphor, actual pigment. My nails had earth tones under them. Ochre, burnt sienna, lead white. It was oil paint, thick, dense, expensive, and it mattered more than money. There was a canvas taller than me. I was working on the folds of a robe, not hers, a man's, a religious figure, maybe a bishop, maybe Christ. I knew what I was doing, but I also felt like I was discovering it as I went, like the painting was teaching me how to see. Someone came into the room. She, the woman from the café, was younger, barefoot, wearing a linen smock covered in dust. She carried fresh bread and sat beside me without speaking. I didn't need her name. We didn't speak in that life, not often, but I loved her. In the quiet, in the glance, in the breath. Then she looked at me, present-day me, broke the fourth wall of the memory, and she said, "Paint again." I snapped out of it, just like that. No alarm, no sound, just her voice echoing in my chest and the cold air on my skin. I stood up, and I knew. I had to buy a canvas. March 6th, a past memory entry. It's been 3 days. I haven't told anyone. I'm not ready. I went to the art store on Rue de Rennes. The same smell, that chemical paper and turpentine blend that hits you the second you walk in. My hands shook as I picked out brushes. I had no idea what to buy. I just followed what felt right. I started sketching again, not from a reference, from memory of something I haven't lived. At least, not in this life. The first drawing was of her, but not her now, her then. The same almond eyes, the same fold in her brow when she watched me work. I didn't have to force it. It flowed. I've drawn 12 sketches in 2 days, all from this place in me I can't explain. Something's happening. The meditation isn't calming me, it's uncovering me, unraveling things I didn't know were buried. March 8th, a past memory entry. I waited all day to be alone. I didn't want to be interrupted, didn't want to be watched. I lit a candle, turned off everything else. I didn't follow a guided meditation this time. I just sat, closed my eyes, and breathed. And then I asked, "Show me what I need to see." The memory. The moment came fast. No tunnel, no colors, just a single click, like a reel starting. And I was there. A tall room with vaulted ceilings and stained glass windows. The air smelled of wax and wet stone. My hands were cold. I wore a loose shirt with rolled sleeves and an apron over my chest, smudged with paint. My fingers bore the proof of months of labor. Calloused, splattered, precise. A mural. A massive commission in a chapel. Christ rising through the clouds, surrounded by angels. But the central figure, the angel at his right hand, was her. Not just her face, her presence. The same gaze that stopped me in Paris. The same quiet gravity. The same mystery in her expression. And I had painted her that way on purpose. Not for flattery, not for fame, for truth. She had saved me in that life. I knew that suddenly, like memory reattaching to a spine. She found me drunk and half-starved, working in an alley doing sketches for copper coins. She saw something I'd forgotten in myself. Not talent, purpose. She brought me bread and clean water. She sat beside me in silence until I spoke again. And when I did, I told her I dreamed of color. Color not yet invented, tones that didn't exist in nature, only in the soul. She never laughed. She just smiled and said, "Then paint what you see in the soul." I had spent 3 years working on that mural. The church wanted a scene of resurrection. What I painted was the resurrection of myself. And when it was done, she left. No note, no goodbye, just vanished. The final brush stroke dried, and she was gone, like her work with me was complete. Back in the present, I opened my eyes and cried. It wasn't sadness. It was recognition. My whole body felt like it had remembered how to breathe. I didn't hallucinate that memory. I didn't imagine it. I relived it. Down to the texture of the paint beneath my nails, down to the ache in my back from scaffolding, down to the look in her eyes, that mix of infinite knowing and impossible distance. She's not a stranger, not in any dimension of time. And this, all of this, is more than memory. It's a calling. Journal commitment, written with clarity. From this day forward, I will document everything, every vision, every feeling, every sketch, every shift in my breath when I sit still long enough to hear the echoes of what I was. This isn't about her anymore. It's about me, or rather, who I've always been beneath who I've become. Something is being returned to me. I don't know where this will lead, but I'm not afraid. I remember now. The soul doesn't forget. It just waits. Chapter 2. Echoes in the Canvas. March 11th. A past memory entry I think I understand now. These aren't just dreams. They're echoes, caught in the layers of my own being. And the canvas is the only place they can land. I painted for 10 hours today. No music, no food, barely any light. I wasn't copying a reference. I wasn't planning. I was remembering. Each stroke pulled something out of me I didn't know I was holding. It's strange. When I draw from imagination, I often get stuck. But when I draw from this, whatever this is, I lose myself completely. And when I finally stepped back and looked at the finished piece, I gasped. It was him. Me. From the mural. Same face, different eyes. There was exhaustion in that version of me. A holy weariness. As if he had carried both beauty and burden through every inch of stone he painted. I didn't sign the canvas. It didn't feel like mine. March 12th. Stream of consciousness. I went back to the café where I first saw her. Part of me hoped she'd appear again. The other part wasn't sure I could handle it. She didn't show. But something else happened. I saw a man sketching alone at the corner table. He kept looking at his hands like they didn't belong to him. When he noticed me watching, he nodded. Just once. Something about that moment shook me. Like he knew. Like we knew. I'm starting to believe this awakening isn't just happening to me. Maybe there are others. Maybe we find each other through these strange threads of remembering. March 13th. A past memory entry. The meditation today was different. I lit the same candle, sat in the same position. But this time I asked for her name. Not the modern one, hers, the one from that life. It took time. My mind kept drifting, but I stayed still, and eventually I heard it, whispered like wind through linen. Elena. The moment I heard it, everything changed. I was no longer in my room. I was walking through a marketplace in Florence. The smell of bread, fish, smoke, voices shouting in dialects I didn't understand, yet somehow did. And then I saw her. Not Elena the muse, Elena the revolutionary. She wasn't just a companion or lover in that life. She was the one who delivered secret messages sewn into paintings. An underground courier, hiding truth in symbols. She used artists to move wisdom across cities, messages hidden in brush strokes, symbols buried in halos, secrets masked in color. We weren't painting beauty. We were painting resistance. And she was the reason I was alive. I woke up from that memory trembling. My breath was shallow, my hands shaking. But I wasn't afraid. I was aware. This story isn't just about love. It's about truth, about using creation as code, about remembering who we were to become who we are. March 15th. Journal intention. I now understand why I'm painting again. It's not for healing, it's not for beauty, it's for decoding. Each image that rises in me carries meaning. Each meditation is a return. Each canvas is a translation. This is the journal of a man remembering, not through words, but through vision, through color, through breath. I won't stop until I find the message Elena left for me, the one I buried in a painting 5 centuries ago. And if she's walking these streets now, I will find her. Chapter 3. The Hidden Fresco. March 18th. A past memory entry. There's something I need to find. I don't know what it looks like. I only know it still exists. It came to me during meditation. I was standing in front of a wall, cracked, faded, water-stained. But I knew every line beneath the damage. I had painted it 500 years ago. A fresco tucked in the alcove of a chapel. But not just any chapel. It was small, modest, the kind priests would overlook but mystics would revere. The memory was clear. I painted it in secret. A message meant for those who knew how to see. The scene. A woman kneeling before a well, her reflection shimmering with gold light. Above her, an angel with no face, only radiant wings. It meant something, and I think it still does. I can't explain how, but I know it wasn't destroyed. March 19th. Stream of consciousness. I didn't plan it. I just started walking. I ended up in the 5th arrondissement, the older part of Paris, the part that feels like the earth still remembers something. Stone paths, iron gates, crumbling cathedrals tucked between apartments. I passed a small chapel I've never noticed before, Chapelle Saint-Aurélie. It wasn't open to the public. The windows were dark, but something about it. I stood there for a long time. A woman walking her dog asked if I was all right. I told her I was looking for someone. She said, "Aren't we all?" I think it's there. The painting. Elena's message. Our message. March 20th. A past memory entry I returned today. Brought my sketchbook. I sat across the street on a stone bench and drew what I remembered. The woman at the well. The angel with wings like shattered light. The symbols carved into the stones. Circles, a spiral, an open eye. As I drew, I noticed something strange. The design. It felt familiar. Not just from the past life. From now. It mirrored the pattern in a painting I saw as a child in the Louvre. A piece that always pulled me in, but never explained itself. A blend of sacred geometry and hidden language. I wonder if that painting was mine too. March 22nd. Dialogue memory, present day. I met the chapel's caretaker, an older man named Jules. He saw me sketching and invited me to walk the grounds. Inside, the chapel smelled like stone and dust. It was dim, quiet, not a single modern light, just candles and natural shadows. I asked him if any of the original wall paintings survived. He shook his head. "Sanded down during renovation," he said. "Many layers beneath these plastered walls." I asked, "Has anyone ever tried to uncover them?" He looked at me strangely. Number. But there was one traveler, years ago, said the same thing you're saying now, claimed a hidden fresco was here. He wrote about it, left a letter. You might find it in the archive box. He pointed toward a drawer near the sacristy. I haven't opened it yet. March the 24th. A past memory entry. I returned this morning before the chapel opened to the public. Jules was there, waiting, almost like he knew I'd come early. He unlocked the archive drawer, an old wooden cabinet with brass handles and handwritten tags. The top drawer creaked like something ancient was waking. There were brittle papers stacked in bundles, some tied with faded ribbon. He pointed to one sealed in a parchment envelope. "This is the one," he said. "Came in 1973. No return address." My heart raced. I don't know why. It's just a letter. But it felt like it was meant for me. The letter to the one who remembers. If your eyes have fallen on this page, then you too have felt the pull. This place is more than stone and shadow. It is a wound stitched with light. I have seen what lies beneath these walls, not with tools, not with chisels, but in stillness, in silence, in visions that come before sleep. There is a painting hidden here, a fresco not meant for public worship, but for the soul who sees through time. I painted it once, long ago. My name was not what it is now. I remember a hand that wasn't mine guiding the brush. There was a woman, always a woman. She carried the symbol in her left palm, a spiral drawn in ash that never washed away. She whispered truth into the paint. I only delivered it, and I believe she is still here in the silence between your breath. If you found this letter, it means you are not imagining things. It means you are remembering. The Traveler, March 24th. Later that night, I couldn't hold it in. I left the chapel and sat on the church steps. I stared at the sky, too bright to be comforting, too blue to feel real, and I broke. Tears came without warning, not loud, not violent, just steady. Soft wear. Like something in me finally exhaled after years of holding its breath. I didn't cry because I was sad. I cried because I was seen. Someone else felt this before me. Someone else remembered. And now I am not alone in this impossible knowing. I'm not losing my mind. I'm finding it. Piece by piece, memory by memory, brush stroke by brush stroke. March the 25th. Journal commitment. Tomorrow I will return with new eyes. I will sketch what I believe is behind that plaster wall. Even if it cannot be uncovered physically, it has already been uncovered within me. Elena, if you're still guiding me, show me the rest. I am listening. And I promise, I will not forget again. Chapter 4. Messages in the Paint, March 27th. A past memory entry. I started painting again, not to recreate the fresco, not to remember the past, but because I couldn't not. The images came before I picked up the brush. Flashes, colors, patterns, faces, all of them unfamiliar, yet somehow already known. Today's painting wasn't of Elena. It was of someone new. A woman with gray eyes and copper-brown hair standing barefoot in a garden I've never seen. She wore a long white tunic, simple but glowing with light. She held her hand to the sky as if receiving something invisible. And behind her, a spiral, the same one from the fresco. It wasn't memory. It felt like a signal. March the 28th. Stream of consciousness. This isn't just past life memory anymore. Something else is happening. I feel like I've become a messenger, but I don't know who the message is for. When I paint now, I don't question what comes. I let it come. And when it does, I don't recognize my own hands. I look down at the canvas and think, I didn't do this. Today, I painted a forest I've never walked through. In the middle of it, a man sat cross-legged beneath a tree. He was surrounded by small orbs of light, hovering like fireflies. Each orb carried a symbol, ancient, geometric, glowing. The man was peaceful, but his eyes were open, staring straight at me. I don't know what it means, but I feel like I've just seen something that hasn't happened yet. March 29th. A past memory entry. The dreams have changed. Now I see glimpses of things that feel future-bound. People gathering, not in cathedrals, In open fields, rooftops, gardens, they're meditating together, silent, still, radiating something invisible but real, like light but alive. And always in the background, that same spiral appears, painted on stones, etched into walls, burned into candlelight. I don't know if I'm creating this future, or if I'm remembering it before it happens. March 30th, letter to self, unsent. Gabriel, you were never just an artist. You were a receiver, a recorder, a translator. Stop doubting what you see. The visions don't need to make sense, not yet. They need to be trusted. Let the images speak before you try to define them. This gift isn't for decoration, it's for direction. So, keep painting, keep showing up, even when you're tired, even when no one understands. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs messages in the paint. March 31st. A past memory entry today, I found the courage to hang one of the new paintings in my apartment. Not the one with the woman. Not the man under the tree. But the one I did yesterday, of the spiral etched into stone. As I looked at it, something stirred in me. Not emotion. Something deeper. A quiet alignment. Like I was sitting in the right place at the right time, holding a thread of destiny between my fingers. This isn't about me anymore. It never was. These images, they're part of a message left behind for the future, and if no one else hears it, I still will. April 1st, a past memory entry. Something unbelievable happened today. I brought one of the spiral paintings, the one with the glowing pattern over the city skyline, to a small local gallery. Not for showing, just to get it framed. The man behind the counter, older, quiet, covered in specks of sawdust, took one look at the canvas and froze. His eyes locked on the center spiral. He didn't speak for a few seconds. Then, slowly, he looked at me and said, "I've seen this before." I asked, "Where?" He said, "In a dream, maybe a year ago. A city under moonlight, and this spiral glowing across the rooftops like a constellation." He pointed. Exactly like this. I didn't know what to say. He wasn't the kind of man who'd make something up. His voice cracked a little when he said it, like he was half afraid it meant something. And maybe it does. Chapter 5. The Gallery of Returning April 5th, a past memory entry. I walked past a gallery window today and didn't flinch. That may not sound like much, but for me, it was everything. For weeks, I've been avoiding the idea of showing these works. The art felt too personal, too sacred, too strange, like laying open a diary no one was meant to read. But today, something softened. I stopped in front of the window, looked at the blank wall inside, and thought, maybe it's time. Not to explain, not to teach, just to let the energy move, to release. April 6th, Stream of Consciousness. I used to think art was about capturing something. Now I know it's about letting it go. I chose 5 pieces. Each one holds a different frequency. The mural fragment, the spiral over the city, the barefoot woman in the garden, the future meditation circle, and one that I painted last night without realizing it. 2 hands reaching for one another, not touching, not trembling, just reaching. I don't know whose hands they are, but I know what they mean. The return is coming. April 7th, a past memory entry. I left the paintings at the gallery today. No ceremony, no press, no biography. I asked them to be hung with no artist name, only titles: Remembrance, Signal, Calling, What Was, What Is, and The Space Between Us. The curator asked why I wanted anonymity. I said, because the message matters more than the messenger. He paused, then smiled. He understood. April 8th, an open entry. It's strange. I thought I'd feel exposed, but I feel lighter, like a part of me was waiting to be witnessed, not for ego, but for completion. There's something about letting these works into the world that feels like letting a dove fly with a message I can't carry alone. Maybe someone will feel it. Maybe someone already has. Maybe she has. April 10th, final reflection. If she sees the painting, she'll know. She'll know it's not about the hands. It's about the space between them, the pull, the ache, the inevitability of return. And if I'm right, she'll come. Not with questions, not with explanations, just the same stillness we always shared. And maybe she'll write too. And maybe she already has. And maybe all of this, the meditations, the murals, the spirals and signals, wasn't for the world to understand. Maybe it was for her, to remind her. We remembered, and that memory became the message. April 11th, the Soul Center. I sat beneath the painting today, the one titled Calling, and I didn't feel longing. I didn't feel grief. I didn't even feel awe. I felt home. This is what the Soul Center is, not a place in space, not a memory in time, but the moment where all things meet, past life, present self, future calling, merged, aligned, no longer reaching, just being. This is where I live now, not in the shadows of yesterday, not in the fantasies of tomorrow, but in the pulse of right now, where she can find me, where I can find myself, and where the spiral continues.
He didn't know it then, but the moment he released the paintings into the world, something ancient in him exhaled, not for recognition, but for remembrance. His journey wasn't about finding her. It was about finding himself, and in doing so, he became visible to her again. What was once fragmented through time now rests within the Soul Center, where past, present, and future converge, and creation remembers its creator. You've just heard the Journal of Gabriel, but the story doesn't end here. Her voice is waiting, her pages already written. Genevieve's journals begin where this memory left off. The author wants you to know that you are loved, and that he remembers you, always and forever. He is grateful that you helped him write again.